So here we are. It's mid-July and north central Ontario, and one of the hallmarks of this time of year for walleye fishing is that there's a whole lot of different things going on at the same time. And I've been up here guiding a lot of walleye fishermen for about the last basically 2 weeks on and off, and I'm on a 5-day stretch right now. We're getting kind of blown off today because it's super rough up here on Georgian Bay, but we're back at it tomorrow. And what I'm doing right now is just going through my rigs and getting everything tidied up, and I thought it'd be a really good idea to go through one of the most user-friendly and versatile methods of walleye fishing that you can use, and we've been catching all kinds of fish on it the last little stretch here. And to tell the truth, we haven't seen a walleye under about 22, 23 inches, and we've been getting up to around 26. And with the drop shotting, the live bait, and the crankbait fishing, and all the slip bobbers, a couple days on slip bobbers, with all that stuff, there's been one presentation that's been in like a dirty shirt every single day we've been fishing, and that's this little Mepps Trolling Rig. And the best way I could describe this this lure is it's modular. And what I mean by that is literally you can take the entire thing and change it and set it up however you want. You can take the blade off, it's got a quick change clevis. You can take the hook off, it's attached just with a split ring. And you can take the skirt off. And there's a lot of things that you can do with these skirts if you keep them on. And I like keeping them on a lot of the time. They come in bucktail and in flashaboo. Both are obviously deadly, fish catching combinations. But I'm just going to take you through really quickly two or three of the ways that we've been catching a lot of our walleyes up here lately. And most days, particularly if there's a little touch of chop first thing in the morning, what we're doing is we're long lining a lot of shoreline structure. And what I mean by that is literally just using the rear mount Minn Kota thruster and clipping along at anywhere between 0.5 and 1.5 miles an hour with 50 to 75 feet of line out behind the rod tip with a little 1/4 ounce bullet weight or a couple of split shot, about a 5-foot snell of 10-pound test, and we're tying it directly to one of these little trolling rigs. And the way that we've got this set up for fishing that particular type of structure is just a little small number 5 Aglia blade. If anyone tells you anything about spinners, make sure you investigate a Mepps first, because they've been in the business longer than anybody. If it's got a blade on it and it's made by Mepps, it'll catch fish. That's just a guarantee. But what we're doing with that is we're taking off the actual harness that comes with the bait, the long double harness, and I'm just putting a little crankbait snap in there down to a VMC, that's about a size 2 or number 2 live bait or octopus hook, and I'm running that with a medium leech and trolling along slowly in that shallow water. That's running down between 8 and 9 feet, and the fish are just coming along and clobbering it. Alongside that, if you're a crawler guy, and we go back and forth, one day it's leeches, one day it's night crawlers. There's no pattern right now. There's so much going on. Just throw in a little bit of a longer shank hook, take 3/4 of a night crawler, thread it all the way up, pop that hook point out, let it hang down about 2 inches, 3 inches, and run it like that. Out in deeper water, and there's plenty of walleyes right now that are in 50, 60 feet of water, but they're only suspended down about 10 to 15 feet. We're just taking the whole full tandem rig, and that's the big number 5 Aglia blade, and we're keeping the exact same. It comes with a trailer hook harness, and what I'm doing is just going to a crankbait snap again off the end of the wire. A lot of pike in the water we fish, so having that wire, that 7-strand wire trailer is nice. Believe me, we get a lot of pike every day, and this saves you a lot of time and a lot of money. And again, just going down to a little VMC bait hook off that snap and running a full crawler in there. One of the tips I'd give anybody with fish and crawlers is it's a scent thing. And I like to pierce that worm once, twice, and then that trailing end, I'll just take the scissors or my fingernail and I'll snip the tiny little bit off the night crawler, so we've got scent just flowing out of that thing. And when you run it behind that, for those suspended fish, dynamite. One of the things that I like to do for suspended fish, and everybody knows this, is I pull them behind boards. Definitely, I'd urge you to go with the tattle flag option if you've got these offshore boards. You can see when a fish comes along and smacks that, he's going to pull that flag down, and it's like an early detection system. Dynamite for live bait harnesses. And yeah, we've just been pulling them behind either tadpoles, that's a little tiny tadpole snapped onto the line, or a little guppy weight, 1/2 ounce and 3/4 of an ounce in that depth range we've been fishing have been good. And on top of that, what I like to do, and if you flip for bass or do any kind of jig fishing for largemouth bass, you're probably already aware of this one, but the way that those Mepps bucktails come out of the package is like that. A nice big full bucktail, and there's nothing wrong with that. You'll catch fish right out of the box on these, believe me. But what I do is I take my scissors and I trim and flare that skirt out. There's one I'm gonna put into the lineup tomorrow. And you can see that difference. What I do is I cut it on an angle on both sides, and I cut more material closer to the hook point and closer to the shaft than I do at the tip. So what you've got there is it looks a lot more like a bait fish. That yellow green's probably like a little perch. These fish eat a lot of perch. And it's just that little compact flash of color. And I do the exact same thing with the Flashabou. When that little baby started, that's been our killer lately right there. That brown-orange craw has been dynamite lately. And that's what I do, is I just trim it back. It's usually a great big bushy thing, and you'll catch fish on that, believe me. But that's my little trick, is I trim that skirt back, then I go ahead and add my full crawler. So yeah, if you're looking for a really versatile trolling rig, they call it the Mepps Trolling Rig for a good reason. It's very versatile. You can pull it with a wide variety of live baits. We use them with minnows too. Any depth, any type of rod, any type of reel setup, from open water planer boards to troll in the shallows that most guys are familiar with, weed beds over top of grass, rock points, any of that stuff. But absolutely give them a try. That's a winning combination, and it works all summer. We've been catching a lot of fish on it the last month or so. And give them a try, you'll be glad you did.